James Reynolds is my name. I'm chairman of Farmers for No, which was set up 2 weeks ago as a campaign group to oppose the Lisbon Treaty and to highlight the real concerns that we have that its ratification will have devastating impact on Irish farm families and on rural Ireland.
By and large, your argument was shaped into four strong points. In summary, what were those points tonight?
Well, the first point was that if the Lisbon Treaty is ratified, it will remove our WTO veto. Currently, if you remember, and again, I'm a former IFA county chairman in Longford. I'm currently secretary of my own branch in Ballinalee. I'm an active member and officer within the IFA. I'm not separate from it. I'm part of it. But I strongly disagree with the stance of the leadership of Pádraig Walsh on this issue. But most farmers in Donegal and all over the country will appreciate that last year, IFA, led by Pádraig Walsh in April of last year, quite rightly led a demonstration against the then EU Trade Commissioner Peter Mandelson's attempts to sell out Irish agriculture and European agriculture in the World Trade talks. It would have shut if Mandelson's World Trade deal had gone through. It would have decimated Irish agriculture and rural Ireland, and it would have cost 80,000 jobs that are dependent on the agricultural and food industry. Currently, the situation is that we have a veto on a bad World Trade deal. In other words, just to give you the background to it. The European Council of Ministers, which includes our own Irish Minister, conferred the mandate on Peter Mandelson as Trade Commissioner to negotiate on behalf of the European Union in the World Trade talks and to sell out Irish agriculture and European agriculture in those negotiations. That mandate was conferred by the European Council. But if the World Trade deal had gone through, for that to happen, that deal would have to come back to Brussels, would have to come back to the Council for it to rubber stamp or ratify that deal. Currently, the Irish government has a veto in relation. The Irish government, under pressure from the farming lobby, could stop that from happening. Subsequent to the Lisbon Treaty being ratified, under Article 188, Section C and N, that veto moves. It's totally removed it's gone. Currently, the situation is it requires the unanimous decision of the members of the European Council for such a deal to be ratified by the EU. Subsequent to Lisbon, it's by qualified majority voting. So it's and also. It brings me on to another point. Another reason why we're against it. The Lisbon Treaty provides for the transfer of power from the smaller member states to the larger member states. And Jens Peter Bonde probably said this to you as well, our voting weight at Council of Ministers level reduces from 2% as it is currently to 0.8%, while the voting weight of the larger member states like Germany increases from more than doubles, from 8 to 17. So therefore it is a power grab by the larger member states. Third reason why we're concerned for us in relation to the effect of the negative effects of the Lisbon Treaty on Irish agriculture is it will provide for the harmonisation throughout Europe of inheritance and succession laws, which will make it impossible for family farms as a single working viable unit to be transferred to one son or daughter. What would happen is that on the continent, you have the background is our situation is in Ireland. We operate a common law system whereby a will can be made by father to a son or daughter, and while other brothers or sisters who have other jobs or may emigrate or do not have any share in the family farm. Under the Code Napoleon system, which would be introduced throughout the EU under the Charter of Fundamental Rights, which would be it's part of the Lisbon Treaty, such brothers or siblings, brothers or sisters, could challenge such a will and demand an equal share in the family farm and force it to be sold. So which infringes and supersedes the right to private property, which is enshrined in our own constitution in Article 43. And also another main reason is that this Lisbon referendum is a proxy referendum on Turkish accession. If the Lisbon is ratified, Turkey, which is a country of 75 million people, would be allowed to enter the EU. That would double the number of farmers, which would mean, in view of the fact that the Common Agricultural Policy budget going forward is likely to be, at the very least, remain the same, if not it's going to be reduced. So if you double the number of farmers on the same budget, you're going to have the supports for effectively for farmers. It's going to effectively collapse supports for agriculture, and at a time going forward when we need every bit of support we can get. And currently the situation is, under Nice Treaty rules, the European Union can only expand as far as 27 member states. Since Romania and Bulgaria joined 2 years ago, we've reached 27. No other EU expansion is possible without the Lisbon Treaty. So if the Lisbon is ratified, it is possible, and I would say probable, that Turkey will join with the downside implications as I outlined earlier. Whereas if we vote no, it's impossible for that to happen.